Chapter 1: The Gallery. Alex didn't usually go to art galleries, but tonight, he needed something to distract him from deals, deadlines, and a life filled with polished surfaces. He didn't expect to meet her. Mary was standing in front of a massive canvas, crimson, oil-heavy, explosive. She wore a long black dress that clung to her curves like it had memorized them. He approached, unsure why. "Looks like anger," he said, nodding at the painting. "It's desire," she replied, not looking at him. "You just don't recognize it." He smiled. "You're the artist?" She finally turned to him, eyes like whiskey and storms. "Mary." "Alex," he said. He offered his hand. She shook it. Something flickered between them, a pull, electric and slow. "I don't usually explain my art," she said. "I don't usually come to galleries," he replied. She smiled. "Then we're both somewhere unfamiliar." Chapter 2: Contact. They met again 2 nights later. He sent flowers. She didn't respond, so he showed up to her studio, unannounced. "You're bold," she said, wiping paint off her cheek. "You're impossible," he replied. "I couldn't stop thinking about you." She handed him a brush, then paint. He laughed. "I mean it," she said. "I want to see what a man like you does with color." So he did, awkwardly, hesitantly, like a man learning to speak with his hands. She watched. Closer. Later, she stood behind him, fingers tracing his wrist, guiding his movement. "You're tense," she whispered. "I'm trying not to touch you," he admitted. Her mouth grazed his neck. "Why not?" That night, they didn't undress completely. She pushed him back against the canvas-stained wall. He held her face like she might disappear. Their kisses were deep, messy, breathless. When he finally touched her, bare thigh, then hip, then the heat between her legs, she moaned against his mouth. "Do you want this?" he whispered. She bit his lip. "I want you." Chapter 3: Layers. Their affair became a ritual. Mornings over espresso and quiet touches. Afternoons tangled in linen and light. Alex learned that Mary painted like she loved, fiercely, without apology. He also learned she didn't do attachment or promises. "Love ruins art," she told him once. He disagreed silently, because everything she touched became more vivid, including him. She wasn't soft, she was sharp, but when he held her, she melted. Only then did he see the cracks, the woman behind the fire. One night, she let him trace every inch of her body with his fingers, then his tongue. Slowly, reverently, she whispered secrets into his skin. Childhood, shame, her fear of being left. He kissed her palm and said, "I'm not leaving. You will." "I won't," she cried that night. He held her until dawn. Chapter 4: Fracture. It was bound to break. Mary was offered a 6-month residency in Berlin. Her dream, her escape. She didn't tell him at first. Alex found out through an article. They fought. "You weren't going to tell me?" he asked. "I didn't know how," she said. "You make things hard." "Because I care? Because I forget how to be alone around you." He stood there, aching. "So, don't be." She looked at him like it hurt. "You're not part of the plan." He left. That night, he drank. He almost called her. Instead, he stared at a blank screen. She painted. Chapter 5: Return. 3 weeks passed. No calls. No visit. Until one night, she showed up at his door, soaked from the rain, holding a small rolled canvas. "I painted something," she said. He let her in, quiet, staring. The painting was him, but not his face. His hands, his back, the way he held her. "I lied," she said. "You are the plan. I'm just scared." He stepped forward. "You don't have to choose between art and love." She touched his chest. "I already did." They didn't speak again that night. They just moved toward each other, toward home, They made love like healing, slow, deep, sacred. Nothing urgent, everything essential. Chapter 6. Beneath the surface, Berlin waited. She postponed a residency. He changed his schedule. They began sharing space, studio, bedroom, breath. Not perfect, but willing. One night, he asked, "Do you believe in forever?" She lay beside him, fingers drawing lazy circles on his stomach. "No," she said, "but I believe in every day I get to wake up next to you." He kissed her. The kind of kiss that doesn't need forever, just now, just always. Chapter 7. The Berlin Conversation. Over late-night wine and jazz, Mary finally said it. "I still want to go to Berlin." Alex didn't flinch. "Then let's go." She blinked. "Together? I can work remotely and watch you change the world." Mary laughed, soft, nervous. "What if it changes us instead?" He touched her jaw. "Then we'll change together." They made love on the couch that night. Not rushed, not planned. She sat on top of him, slow and steady, holding his gaze the whole time. "You feel like mine," she whispered. "I am." Chapter 8. Shared air. Berlin was a dream. Cold air, strange beauty, late dinners with other artists. They moved into a loft with creaky floors and wide windows. Mary painted like wildfire. Alex wrote again. Essays, poetry, things he'd buried. They made love under blankets, their breath visible in the morning. She would stop mid-brushstroke just to kiss him. He would watch her sleep, sketching words onto napkins. They fought less. They didn't avoid silence. They built something soft in a foreign place. Sometimes she cried for no reason. "I'm scared it's too good," she'd say. He'd hold her tighter. Chapter 9. The Temptation. One of the gallery curators was charming, French, stylish, fascinated by Mary's work. He asked her to dinner to discuss funding. Alex watched from across the room as they laughed. Jealousy was new to him. Ugly, sharp. He didn't accuse her. But that night, his hands on her body were different, hungrier, possessive. She noticed and leaned into it. "Tell me you want me," she whispered. "I want all of you. Show me." So he did, over and over, until her name was the only language left in the room. Chapter 10. The Painting of Him. Mary created her boldest piece yet, a massive portrait of Alex. Not just his body, though it was there in detail, scars, muscles, shadows, but his essence, the way he listened, his restraint, his fire. It was raw, intimate, unapologetic. When she unveiled it, the room fell silent. Alex didn't speak right away. Later, alone, he stood in front of it and whispered, "You see me." She stepped behind him, wrapping arms around his waist. "Better than anyone," she said. Chapter 11. The First I Love You. It came quietly. They were brushing their teeth, barefoot on cold tiles, wrapped in sleep. Mary looked at him, foam on her lip, and said it like it wasn't a question. "I love you." Alex froze, then smiled, and spit into the sink. "You couldn't have picked a sexier moment?" She laughed. He turned, took her face in his hands, and set it back, slow and deep, like he meant it in every possible way. That night, they didn't need passion. They needed closeness. And it was the most intimate moment of all. Chapter 12. Letters She Never Sent. Mary kept a small black notebook. One day, Alex found it under the bed while searching for her sketch pencils. Inside were letters. To him. Dozens. Some full of passion. Others fear. One simply said, "If you ever stop looking at me the way you do, I won't know how to stay." He closed the notebook carefully, his chest tight. That night, without a word, he came to her in the kitchen, lifted her onto the counter, and kissed her like the first time. She didn't ask how he knew, but she smiled like she'd been waiting. Chapter 13. A Quiet Undoing. They didn't fight often,
but when they did, it was about space.
Mary needed silence. Alex needed closeness. One night, after she returned late from a gallery dinner, he said, "You forget I'm here."
She paused.
"I'm not used to having someone to remember." It wasn't an apology, but it was honest. He left the room.
She cried.
But at 2 a.m., he came back, pulled her into bed, and wrapped her up from behind. "You don't have to speak," he whispered. "Just let me hold the part of you you're afraid to share." And she did. Chapter 14. The Balcony Promise. It snowed for the first time in weeks. They sat outside under blankets, drinking red wine, watching the world go quiet. Mary turned to him. "If I asked you to follow me anywhere, would you?" He didn't hesitate. "Yes." She smiled. "Even if it meant giving up everything safe?" "You're the only thing that feels safe," he said. She kissed him then, slow and sweet. Later, wrapped in one another beneath those blankets, she whispered, "Then follow me forever." Chapter 15. Breath. She woke from a nightmare, gasping, shaking. He was there instantly, holding her. "You're safe." Tears streamed down her face. "I dreamt you stopped loving me." He pulled her in, forehead to forehead. "That will never happen." He kissed away every tear, every tremble, every leftover fear. They didn't speak as he slid into her, slow, deep, present. They moved like waves, like a prayer. That night, their bodies said more than words ever could. Chapter 16. The End of the Beginning. They returned to New York, together. A new apartment, a shared studio, a gallery opening in both their names. Between skin and canvas. One review read, "Their art bleeds into each other, as if they are two halves of one hunger." Mary held Alex's hand after the show.
"We started with want," she said.
"And now?" he asked. She looked at him, full of years, color, storm. "Now we begin with love."